Hey folks, quick refresher here on VFR symbology and sectionals. I do want to emphasize that this is basic. It's not to get down in the weeds with all the trivia and minutia and whatnot. We can do another video on that later, maybe if it's of interest to anybody. But this maybe to help you get back into flying. You've been out for a while, or if you have a VFR coming up or something like that. So with that said, I'm looking at the Sacramento sectional. I chose this one because there's a lot going on in a small space, not unlike any other part of the world, but it's just that I know this one, so I'm going to use it. Let's start right in here in the lower right. I'm looking at this block. I'm highlighting in red. Let's go line by line. Sacramento Mather, that's the name of the airfield. That's this airfield right here. This block of information will be near the airport as reasonably as can be given other limitations to space and whatnot. Sacramento Mather, MHR is the identifier. That'll be in parentheses right after it's cut off a little bit here, but you get the idea. CT is control tower, 120.65. Star, the heck does that mean? Star means that the control tower is part-time. You need to look in the airport facility directory to see when it opens and closes. When it's closed, it is a CTAF. You still transmit broadcasts, talk on 120.65. The frequency will always precede the C or be in close proximity to it. So that's how you know. When the tower is closed, it's up to you. It's an uncontrolled airfield at that point, and it's up to you to coordinate with your fellow pilots. ATIS is on 118.325. Pretty straightforward there. 98, next line. What is this 98 all about? If you guessed the height above sea level, you are correct. Sacramento Mather Airfield is a whopping 98 feet above sea level. This little asterisk or star L, that means the lighting is part-time. That's right. If your tower is part-time, your lighting's probably going to be part-time. The star means that it's part-time. If it was just an L, it would be on all the time. And you have to look in the airport facility directory to see how you activate that lighting. Sometimes it's the clicks of the mic. Sometimes you have to call in to somebody or whatnot. So you need to figure that one out. Again, if it's just the L, no star, lights are on full time. 113, add 2 zeros, 11,300 feet is the length of your longest runway. Again, pretty straightforward. 122.95, right after that is the Unicom frequency, air to ground, so some FBO is going to monitor that frequency. Say you're inbound and you want your rental car pulled up, or your quick turn, you need fuel for, quickly, you just want to throw on 20 or 30 gallons or whatever and be gone, you can call them and have it prepped. RP4R, 22R. Right pattern, 4 right and 2 right. So instead of just standard left-hand traffic, runway 4, which is going this way, 4 right is going to have right-hand traffic. All right, so takeoff, downwind, base, final. Right-hand traffic. 2 right is also going to have right-hand traffic. Let me get rid of some of these. 2 right is facing this way. So you take off, crosswind, downwind, base, final. That's it. That's the information block for Sacramento Mather Airfield. Now let's talk about the airspace itself. We have this dashed line around the airfield. We know the blue means it's Class D airspace. The dashed means that Class D airspace starts at the surface. Okay, how high up does it go? 2,600 feet. Does that include 2,600 feet? In this case, yes, it does. Well, what if it had a minus right here? What if it was minus 26? Then the FAA is telling us it's up to, but not including, 2,600 feet. So if you're at 2,600 feet with a minus, you're okay. You're out of Class D airspace. You don't have to talk to them. Fly all day if you want. Let's go over here. We have some obstacles. Obstacles are always important to avoid. Just trust me. I don't have first-hand experience with that, but you don't want to be running into obstacles. Let's talk about the one on the right first. 598, height above sea level, MSL, for those group of towers. So because there's two of them, like this, means there's more than one. 346 is the height above ground level. So you guessed it, 434 feet MSL, 220 feet AGL for this obstruction. In this case, it looks like it's a building maybe. Maybe there's a tower on the building. It really doesn't matter. You need to stay above 220 feet above that obstacle. All right, what else do we have? Oh, yes, the star. What the heck is that all about? That's where the rotating beacon is at. So when you're seeing the rotating beacon, it will be on the southeast side of the airfield. That about does it for Sacramento Mather Airfield. I'm not going to dwell on these too much because there's a lot of redundancy here, but let's look at McClellan. Whoops. Here's the identifier. The AWOS is on 125975, 77 feet above ground, or above sea level, sorry. Pilot controlled lighting, 10,600 feet is the runway length, the only runway length. 122975, CTAF, there is no tower, and right-hand pattern for runway 16. You'll notice we also have a rotating beacon right there. What's unique about this? Well, for one, here, this little circle, that's the VFR location on the field. So if it was off the field, it would look like this down here at Sacramento Exec. That's the VOR off the field. All right, but when it's on, it's just a circle on the field there. You'll notice we also have dashed lines here, right? Class E airspace to the surface for that area. What about this overlap? What about that? Well, Class E airspace is a higher control, so you're going to have to talk to the tower to come in this Class D airspace, even though it is looks like an overlap a little bit. I guess it's not really an overlap, it's kind of a cutout of the Class E airspace. So if you just think of it that way, you won't get confused. What else are we looking at here? Let's see. Let's talk about Rio Linda since it's right here. You can go through all this here now because I have taught you and you know that. You know these obstacles right here. All right, so we don't need to cover that. Here's the airfield for Rio Linda. It's solid, so it's a shorter runway than McClellan or Mather. So it's circle here, and it's got these hash marks. I wonder what that's all about. Well, that means fuel is available. All right, so if you see the hash marks, you should be able to get fuel. And I say should because sometimes you show up and it's out of service or it's NOTAMed. All right, so Rio Linda lies within that surface Class E airspace for McClellan. Not uncommon, but you see that Sacramento International, this bad boy, and here's the block information, has a big nasty Class C airspace around it, and it overlaps the Class E to the surface, and it overlaps Class D to the surface down here where SAC Exec is located. All right, so what the heck now? Well, let's talk about Sacramento International Intergalactic Regional spaceport. The surface, as you can see here, Class C is from the surface to 4,100 feet. You know what? Just add 2 zeros to everything in aviation and you pretty much got it. So surface to 4,100 feet, Class C airspace. That Class C, that surface Class C, is this thick magenta line here that I'm outlining. You can see it doesn't go into there. Comes up here. Riego must have some pull because he didn't want to be included in the surface or whatever. But yeah, so that is the surface to 4100 Class C airspace. Again, we have a rotating beacon, parallel runways, but we also have something a little different. We have a bigger circle here. What the heck is this about? What does this circle do? And you see it continues over here and it just makes a big loop around. What's going on there? Well, look at the matching text. Remember my trick. Add 2 zeros. So from this area here, from between these two rings, we have Class C airspace from 1,600 feet up to 4,100 feet. So, as is common, you depart, let's say over here at McClellan, you depart 1.6, and you fly along this way because you're going to the Bay Area or whatever. And you don't enter the Class D like my pen just did, but maybe you talk to them and you get cleared through there, right? As long as you're below 1,600 feet, you're outside of Class C airspace. So you don't have to talk to them to come in. You're underneath the shelf. Now, there's other requirements, but let's not go into that right now. But read up on entry into Class C airspace. A homework assignment. If you're above 4,100 feet, guess what? You're not in Class C airspace either. You're above it. So fly over it at 4,101 feet. Make sure your altimeter is carefully calibrated, though, because you're playing with fire at that point. But fly it above it at 4,100 feet. Let's say 5,000, 6,000, whatever. You're above Class C. You don't need permission to enter the airspace because, shockingly, you're not in the airspace. Get rid of this stuff here. What else? All right, so this is interesting. Here's remnants, not remnants, but a little sliver of magenta dashed line. What the heck is going on there? Well, guess what? That's just like this dash line over here at McClellan. So that's Class E to the surface. So Riego Airport is in a Class Echo controlled airspace down to the surface. So he missed the Class C, but he's got the Class E. Not a big deal, but whatever. What else? R. It's restricted. Don't go there. In this case, that's CHP's private airstrip. They probably won't be too happy if you land there. You'll be met with guns and stuff, I'm sure. Same over here, Medlock Airport. Little private little strip. Just get permission to land there. Sometimes people are cool and they'll let you land there. Other times, not so much. Here's a good one. Davis. I can't scroll over. Davis, little uncontrolled airport. Great fuel prices, by the way. It's got the tick marks, so they got fuel. It's got the star, so they have a beacon. All right, that's... I'm not teaching you guys anything new here. You know all this. And let's see. That's about it. We've got the... I can't scroll down any further, but this is Sacramento VOR information down here. All right. I'll have to do another video because I cut that off pretty good. Here we go. parachute jumping. Look out for the meat missiles coming down. Yeah, we've got water out here, intermittent water. Folsom Lake, we got big lakes depicted. Oh, here we go. McClellan VOR, the one that's on the field. It's got DME information, the name of it, the frequency. Channel 29, don't worry about that. That's just trivia. We'll talk about that another time. MCC's identifier. And here is what the Morse code sounds like, because I know everybody tunes and listens to the Morse code. Let's see. Here's a good one. Intersections. In this case, Rossi intersection. Rossi intersection is defined as this 0 to 1 radial from the Sacramento, that's not on the field, but from the Sacramento VOR. I mean, it's pretty much, so I guess we'll go like that. So that intersection is defined as this airway and whatever it's pointing to this way. The arrows always point to the item being used to identify the intersection. So Rossi, it's just an intersection. They could give you a hold at that or whatever. These airways, so this is a good little discussion. Let's take Folly, for instance. Here's another one, Corley. All of these are identified by that airway. These airways are 4 miles wide, so 4 miles this way, 4 miles this way, a grand total of 8 miles. It's a little more trivia, I guess, than we need to know at this point. And just kind of jumping around here, looking around. You got buildings, factories, in this case. You see all these ripples here? They look like waves. Just from personal knowledge, those are pilings, like rock pilings. Tailings, I guess is the word. When they gold mined the region, they dumped a bunch of rocks, and dredgings and stuff there. We got intermittent streams, power lines. These are all good for VFR navigation. Let's go back over here. What else? Obviously, cities, like Woodland and Davis, those are good, easily identifiable landmarks. Oh, here we go. This is good. Another going for VFR. Pilotage Dead Reckoning. Railroad tracks. Okay, those make great waypoints. These little pools here, those are obviously man-made, being rectangular like that. Those are great ways to identify, so long as they don't dry up and whatnot. I think that's about it. That's a pretty good start. Speaking of drying up, here's like intermittent marshland, kind of wetland areas. Same here. Looks like little grass. That will about do it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, leave a question down below. I'll try to answer it. Hope this helps. I'll do more of these in the future, and if you want further in-depth information, I'll make some more videos on like that. And stay in the books, because this stuff is perishable, I'm telling you. And again, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking and all that. I really